Hey guys, sorry I'm not able to be here today. I'm currently heading to Sudbury for my missions trip. Thanks to everyone who sponsored me and supported me because it's going to be a crazy week with children. I don't do animation, so I'll be using a lot of Google images in this video for visual interest. Please keep watching. Anyway, this is going to be my long and impossible story on what happened during my grade 12 year. So in September, my sister and I were talking about what university I should go to. I decided to go into environment because, if you know me, I camp around a lot. So environment seemed like the obvious thing to study. My sister suggested to go into the University of Waterloo, not only because she's an alumni, but she said there was a great Christian community there. Waterloo was also a chance of getting away from home. It's not too urban like downtown, and not the complete outdoors like Lakehead. So I looked into the Faculty of Environment and found a program that I liked. My sister then suggested I go into environmental engineering because I didn't like sciences or business, and I couldn't do arts or math. At first, I thought we were getting ahead of ourselves because the title of engineer seemed way too big for a low-key girl like me, but what the heck, I applied anyway because I was really into physics and I love to learn how things work. Actually, I applied only to Waterloo. I applied for 3 programs there, 2 for environment and 1 for engineering. Some would say I'm reckless, some would say I'm foolish. I'd have to agree with both because those traits are exactly what put me in the predicament that I was in. In mid-May, I checked my email and saw that I received offers from all 3 programs. Most people would be overjoyed, but for me, I had a hunch that I'd get in, so I wasn't crying out of happiness or anything. I was reluctant to accept my offer into engineering, but everyone kept telling me to do it, and at least try, so on the last day, I accepted it. After that, I thought I could safely tell people that I was in engineering at Waterloo, and that I had a future ahead of me. So I did. I told you guys. I told my family, my teachers, friends, and even the place where I worked. I was confident, and I was finally secure, until I realized my marks were dropping. It wasn't because I was slacking, it was because the course content was genuinely getting harder for me. You see, my offer of engineering was a conditional offer. I had to maintain a certain average in order to stay accepted into my program. Since my grades were dropping, my average dropped, and it went below the conditionals. I thought I could bring it back up with my exams, but I couldn't. Even though I studied and worked hard, they brought my average down even more. I was seriously in trouble. So I called Waterloo various times and asked them about my status of my acceptance, but they kept telling me to wait and that they'll get back to me. I was scared that my father would look down on me. My mother told me that she told her coworkers I was going into engineering, so if I suddenly broke the news that I might not make it into engineering, she'd be embarrassed and see me as a disappointment. My anxiety didn't help my situation either. I couldn't sleep until 3 or 4 in the morning because I couldn't stop worrying and panicking. I constantly felt like throwing up, and my body suffered physically. I couldn't stop worrying. It mattered so much to me because I don't like to make false claims. I already told people I was going to engineering, which meant that if I didn't get in, it wouldn't just mean that I was lying to them, but it would mean that I failed myself. I prayed to God asking for guidance and courage and comfort, and that my faith wouldn't be shaken if I didn't get accepted. I didn't want to be left behind, and I was mentally preparing myself for the worst. Even then, I still had no response, so I kept waiting. So after graduation, I called Waterloo every 2 days to ask about my status, and what would happen to my residence and courses if I had to switch into the environment program. You see, I got offers from all 3 of my programs, but at this point, one had become expired, which left me my engineering offer and my environment offer. So I wasn't too worried about not making it into engineering because I could revert back to my environment offer. However, one day I called in because I had a question about residences, and Will informed me that my environment offer was expiring that night. I completely panicked because it was so sudden, there was no one at home to back me up, I was home alone. This was between me and God. Having no option left, I told them to switch me into the environment program, but even then, Will told me that there was no guarantee that I would get in. I was numb the entire day, and I had friends over that day as well, so it wasn't like I could freak out on my own. At the end of the day, my father had called home. He was the last person, and is the last person I would talk to about my problems, but I just cried on the phone and told him the whole story. Instead of responding with disappointment, he unexpectedly responded with patience and care. He said that it was going to be okay. After that, I called my sister, who was at the time in China. She told me that maybe we really did aim too far, and that she was sorry for putting me under so much pressure. When I told her that I was a failure and a disappointment, she told me the story of Saul and how he had done bad things to Christians. He murdered and killed, yet God still gave him an opportunity to repent and know him. She told me at least I hadn't messed up as bad as Saul did. She prayed for me, and then we said our goodbyes. I sat alone in bed feeling awful. I thought that it was over. Later that night, I checked my email, and I saw that I received something from Waterloo. I thought it was just a confirmation saying I had switched into the environment program and all, and what the heck? Overjoyed, I told my parents right away and thanked God for His grace. I told my sister, and she said that God is so funny. I was never revoked even though I was under conditionals, which is totally crazy because the Faculty of Engineering is strict. So my friends, this crazy and wild adventure took place during mostly second semester, and I learned that my parents loved me even though it looked like I'd failed. I received tons of people in my life to encourage me during this journey, and although you may not know, you guys were a part of it. Just seeing your smiles or getting hyped up for something utterly ridiculous made my day. This journey proved that God can do the impossible, even for a little shrimp like me. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember to never ever give up on God and be patient on Him because He's full of surprises.
Like the wind you guide, clear the skies before me, and I'll glide this open sea. Like the stars you were, will light my voice and remind me where I've been.